Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to round 8 of the Crush Card Cup, and today I'm playing against our thrower 4. He's gonna be piloting Adamancipators, like a deck that we've seen in it coming in to the meta and absolutely just crushing it. Like, definitely a deck that you have to definitely be comfortable with understanding how their playstyle works so that you can play around it. But today I'm gonna be playing Eldritch. Psych. Nah, we're gonna be playing Pendulums, and so I decided that I wanted to keep playing Pendulums because it was one of my first loves, getting into the game. The mechanic of Pendulums and Pendulum summoning is just so good. I genuinely just love this deck, and it was my first love. So I was like, you know what, for round 8 I'm gonna take Pendulums and play it again, and I think it's really important that even though I'm playing in a high stakes tournament like CMOS tournament, you have to play a deck that you love, a deck that you enjoy, and a deck that you're super comfortable with. I think those criteria is right, and also third criteria is it being a meta call. Pendulum has the best matchup against Eldritch. I think I FTK every Eldritch deck. It's just unfortunate, but that's the case. And also against the rock deck, yeah, if you win the dice roll, you're probably gonna win, but going second is not even that bad. You have a lot of power cards in the deck that just baits out negates like nothing else. So it meets those 3 criteria. It's a deck that I generally enjoy. It's a deck that actually covers the meta. It answers the meta, and then yeah, and it's a deck that I'm super comfortable with. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. So I lose the dice roll here, man. I lose the dice roll to Adamancipators. Obviously, I didn't know he was playing at the time. But then, here's how I know. He goes, oh no. Oh no, Mato Para, bro. I'm like, Para, come on. So I was thinking here that I'm going to get FTK'd by the rock deck, but we never give up. So here, he's going to go Ono, dump, Dark Ruler no more. I'm like, yo, this guy is sick, man. He has, the nut hand. I can't imagine if I were to go first, I'd probably just lose, to be honest. So either way, it was probably better for him to go first. Just his hand was so insane. As you can see, he has a Pankratops too, but his hand was just the nuts. So here goes Ono, and then he's gonna search Glove and then Subaba Gagaga. And so Zubaba Gagaga, a lot of people don't know this card, so I'm just gonna quickly explain it. Essentially, it's a special summon from the hand if you control any Zubaba or a Gagaga card. It's kind of neat in that essence, but also because the Dododo Go Glove, the dwarf can actually special summon this card from your hand. So, and it's an earth, which is technically better than the utopic Ono no Para. So it's decent. Here he's gonna go normal summon Doki Doki, and I don't play hand traps and pendulums in. What we do is we just break apart boards using the cards we have because they're all power cards. But anyways, he's gonna do Doki Doki dump Glove, and I'm just like, yo, when will it end? But what I do here is I continuously make him second guess his plays, because he's gonna whiff on this one, by the way, which is super helpful. But his hand is so godly, and he has Monster Reborn too. His hand is so godly anyways. But what I do is I constantly say think, right? And the reason why I do this is because I want to pretend I have some sort of interaction. And this bluffing is really important because a lot of people think I'm playing Eldritch, and Eldritch means 12 hand traps, 9 to 12 hand traps, right? So this guy's probably assuming if he's been I don't know, seeing, because we're both have 6-1 records, right? We're both 6-1 before the results of this match. So he probably have seen what I've played, and just because I do YouTube videos and stuff like that too. He's probably thinking I have some sort of interaction. So I'm think on Riptide effect, but then I'm sure. So I think I baited him into thinking that I have a Nibiru or an Ash Blossom or something. He just is afraid that I definitely have some sort of interaction. But you'll see here, he'll go Dragdite, draw 1. Then he's gonna go Monster Reborn, target the Dodo. And at this point in time, I'm thinking on the resolution of Zubaba Gagaga. So he's probably scared right now, because he's yo, if I get Nibiru here, I probably just lose, because he used his last Monster Reborn extender. The rest of his hand probably isn't that good, because he literally the only way he comes back from getting Nibiru here is he has Researcher, or if he has Signs, which I don't think he does. But obviously I don't have the Nibiru, but I make him think he does, and so by doing so, he's gonna make very suboptimal plays, in my opinion. He's gonna go here, he takes back a play, and I'm okay, sure, that's fine. I'm not gonna shark him on that. So I was like, sure, you can discard the so he does it again. He literally does it twice. Like he literally like detached the wrong one twice. I'm like, whatever, man, I'm not gonna shark you. So he detaches this card, and the reason why he does that is because he wanted the 3 earth to be in the graveyard for block dragon. So that's why you don't discard the water. If he discarded the water and I sharked him on it, then he would have had to banish an earth monster from his hand as well for the block dragon. But I just didn't. I was like, there's no point. So he gets block dragon there. And then at this point, he's going to banish all 3 and summon the block dragon. But because he doesn't have a tuner, he can't go into needle fiber. But like I said, I baited him into thinking I have the Nibiru. So he's going to make a 4 material Appaloosa right off the get-go, right from here. Because I don't know if you noticed, the reason, even if I don't telegraph the Nibiru, because of the fact that he had no way to negate Nibiru if I had it, all I had to do was wait. But here he makes Appaloosa for 4, and then he's going to get block dragon off, which gets Researcher. The Seeker, and then he's gonna get Gigantus. Yeah, so at this point he's gonna like summon the Gigantus, Researcher, normal play, summon the Seeker, and then just go off on the Seeker and Researcher. He hits a Doki Doki off the rip, which is like really good. Doki Doki is insane because it gets you into the Herald, which is like always nice. And then he does another rip, but then he misses on this one, which I think like if this is really important. Like if you're playing like a deck like Eldritch that plays hand trap and you don't know whether or not to hand trap like Researcher or like whatever, what you can do is, and this is something I do, if you know the ratios of the rock deck, you can actually count how many targets they have. So on average, like most rock decks plays around 8 to 11 targets for like rock monsters that are non-tuners. So as you can see, he has 1 glove, 1 Dragdite, what else? He has 1 Doki Doki, so that's 3. He has 4 Doki Doki. That's 4. So like the chances of hitting he probably has around 6 to 7 left in his deck that can be summoned off of like Researcher or like Seeker. So like you just know like mathematically wise, there's a 25 card deck. Like he was bound to hit. Like he had like around like a quarter chance to like miss. So it was like pretty decent there. So you see that he misses there, which I think is gonna like hurt his board because now he's gonna make Herald. And then he's going to make Raptite pass. So I'm looking at this board. I'm like, damn, this is like the board? I'm like, yo, this is your board. So I was like, that's fine. Now the hardest part is how do you navigate this board, right? So you have a Herald and then you have a 4 material Appaloosa, man. So it's like not easy. And then he has a Raptite. So like whatever I send off souls, he'll just Raptite it anyways. So I first start off with Reflection. And the reason why I start off with Reflection is because I don't think anyone actually negates Reflection. Just because like it doesn't really plus you, and the effect from the scale actually makes you lose like a card in your hand. So you actually lose a lot of resources using Reflection because you also like don't have scales and you have like 4 cards to play. So but I wanted this card specifically for the fact that it stores counters. I needed to start storing counters because the game plan is to resolve Big Endymion and blow up the board. That's the game plan, guys. So next I was like, so I always ask him like activation good, anything. He's like, no. Then I go Chrono Effect. So I activate Chrono and he's like, okay. I try to attack to his souls here, but I can't just because of the Herald of Arclight. Because you can't pay the cost for souls, like which is to send a level 6 from deck to grave. And it's like you can't attempt to legally activate souls while under like Macrocosmos. And because of that, I literally had to like and I was literally like, oh, like I literally cannot attempt to activate this, so this is gonna go back in my hand, this is gonna go back into my deck. That's my bad. At like I guess an event I'll probably get like a minor warning like PE, which is like fine. Like it just was a play that I just totally forgot that Herald had that effect, because usually Herald doesn't really come up against Pendulums, but it does come up against souls. So that was like my fault. So I was like, okay, my bad, I can't do that. So then I'm like, okay, thinking. And then this is the next line of play that I do is I go Allure of Darkness. I wanted to like bait out interruptions. Like Allure is like a pretty good card, and so he's gonna negate Allure here, which is like so good, because I was like, that's fine. Like my hand is like really good. It's actually not really good. It's actually kind of bad, but it's decent for breaking apart this board. So I go Allure is gonna negate. I'm like, okay, sure. I don't get a counter because the activation was negated. And then I go Souls. I dump for Cause, and then here you see that, okay, so even if he negated this with Appaloosa, I just pen summon and beat over Appaloosa and then beat over Raptite. But I think he notices that. So what he does is he opts not to negate Souls, which I thought was actually a big misplay. Like I think that was actually incorrect. Because now I get a free body on the board, and then I can then use Chrono Effect to get a Time Gazer. And this is important because now I can make Daybreaker from these 2 cards. And Daybreaker, for those of you who don't know, Daybreaker is absolutely insane at breaking apart boards. So Daybreaker is going to actually, I'm going to use the effect on Link Summon to gain a counter. And then he's going to use Appaloosa effect to negate that. I don't think that was correct, but he did it anyways. I was like, sure, that's fine. So I don't get a counter on the Daybreaker. And then I activate the scale. This is really important because now if you notice, right, I have 2 counters on reflection, which means when I pen out the Jackal King can then negate effects. So now I go pen summon, and then I make I have a board, so Jackal King can negate. And then because a spellcaster was special summoned to a zone that Daybreaker points to, I on the pen summon on the resolution, I'm like, okay, Chainlink 1 Daybreaker. He's gonna go Chainlink 2 Raptide, and I think on that effect, and then I let that card resolve because it doesn't really do anything. So at this point, I'm thinking about how I actually just kill him. Like, honestly, I think about how do I get game on board. I was thinking, like, do I make Borrelsword? Like, what do I do? But I realized that all I need to do is just make a Celine. I'm going to use Celine's effect to gain counters. And what I did here is I started counting his spell cards and my spell card. I had exactly 6. I had 6, or like at least 6 counters to get Celine. I counted. So I'm like, Monster Reborn on a Dark Ruler, my 2 scales, and then 1 Allure in the graveyard. So that's like exactly 6 spells, which means that Celine is going to get 6 counters, which means that I'm able to resolve Endymion effect. So at this point, I'm going to use Celine effect, Chainlink 1 to gain counters because it's a summon on effect. And then he's going to go Appaloosa. And then because I have 2 counters on reflection, I can Jane Jackal King. So this sequencing of play is very important. Like, I knew he was going to negate this. Like, I knew that, like, he was going to do that. And so all I do is I just chain Jackal King and then destroy Appaloosa. I get the 6 counters, and then I use Endymion effect, which is the game plan, guys. Remember the game plan. Go to Celine to get 6 counters, because I counted this from the beginning. I saw that he had 3 spells engraved, and I saw that I have 1 in my hand. So mathematically, I knew that I'm gonna have 2 scales on the board. So that means that I was guaranteed pretty much 6 counters if Celine resolves, which means that with Endymion, I just blow up the board and I go to battle phase and just kill him. He like thought that for some reason, like, I can't like pop cards because none of these cards have counters. So I'm gonna explain this for those of you who don't know. Like, Endymion effect, what it does is it removes 6 counters from the field, and then it counts the number of cards that can hold a counter, not necessarily that it has a counter. So that's a very important distinction, because on my field right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are legally allowed to hold counters, which means that they can I can pop up to 4 cards on the field non-target, and that's like really important. So even though I have no counters on my field upon like resolution, because there's 4 cards that can hold counters, I can pop up to 4. Here I pop, and then he just immediately scoops because like I said, don't need to do any fancy plays. I go to battle, I kill him clean. Now he's gonna elect to go first again. And this time, I think he realized that I'm playing Pendulums, and so he's gonna basically full combo me here. So he's gonna go pick up into Para dump glove, which is like insane. Para dump glove is insane. You get the coat, and then you get the Gigas. At this point, he's gonna go Doki, dump Gigas. I mean, this is just like essentially like super full combo. Like, I don't think I noted any misplays, but here's something I did. I saw that he had IO and anti-spell revealed, so I knew that like I get to a chance to play. Like, the only thing he can have is 2 anti-spell, and like there's 2 anti-spells left that are unknown, so it could be in his hand or in his deck. But because all these cards reveal, I didn't concede it right away, and I didn't give up right away, because like I started noticing that like he had revealed 2 of like the ways that just FTKs me. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's actually pretty decent. You'll see that he like whiffs here too. So I think he's playing a good count, but like there's a high chance to like actually miss even at 11. Especially if he's playing, like, especially if you just look at his hand, like he has glove, Gigas, Doki Doki, and then he added Zubaba Coat, which we know. So that's like 4 out of like 11 monsters in his deck, right? That like, so he only has 7 monsters left in his deck in a 32 card deck that can be summoned off any Adamancipators. Like, that's just like the ratio. I'm just like guessing, right? Like, obviously, like it can be 12 or it can be 8, but like just mathematically, you kind of know that like he has a high chance to break and like miss. He's here gonna just summon O-Line, which I thought made sense because he wants to go into Raptide here. But here I try to bait it again. I'm like thinking on the resolution of Gigantis, but I don't think he falls for it this time, because he's just gonna full combo. But like if I had Nibiru here, he literally would have gotten like punished so badly, like that's actually kind of insane. Like, so I mean, so here's the second anti-spell being revealed, and so I knew that like unless he had the third anti-spell in his hand, like I can still get to play. So that was like really important. He got the Researcher off this, which is like good. Technically, because the Needle Fiber shuffled his deck, that anti-spell could be like the same one that I saw from like the first reveal, but I just as long as I kept seeing anti-spell figures, I felt more and more comfortable. And then he's gonna use Researcher and revealed 5. He's gonna get the hit on the Gigas, which is really good because then he can get Glove. Glove will come back from the graveyard. So then he gets Glove back from the graveyard. I think for some reason he summoned Gigas, but he's quickly gonna take that play back because he was like, oh my bad, I did say Glove. I wasn't like really shucking him. I was just like, if you're using you're using Glove, so like just summon the Glove. So at this point he's gonna make the Granite, and then he's gonna get the Block Dragon. So at this point, like I pretty much like lose unless I top deck Dark Ruler. So like there's not really much I can do. Like he's essentially ending on full combo. But look at this board. He doesn't even play around Nibiru. Like there's like I was actually so sick because when he made the Gallant Granite, if I just Nibiru'd him, if I had it, this guy would have passed. So, and then he has 2 cards left in hand, one of which I know. So like I'm just so sick because like literally this guy doesn't play around Nibiru, and he's getting rewarded for it, which is like the worst part. Like he doesn't even make Appaloosa like, or like try to even play around it, which is like so sick. And like I guess you say that like Pendulums wouldn't side in, but that's like false. Like I can like you can even play it in Pendulums at all. Like there's not really a conflict. Like so it could still work. I don't know. Like it's game 2. Like I have my side deck in, you know. So I was just kind of confused. Then he makes Appaloosa here, and then he's gonna obviously trigger block, make Appaloosa for 4. That's fine. Gets Researcher, Seeker, Gigantis, which is like, you know, full combo. And so I mean, like I can't really do much here. So here it is. Okay, revealed the last 2 anti-spell. So I knew at this point in time, like I was like, okay, that's fine. He didn't hard draw the anti-spell. And then because the last card in his hand is Zubaba Gagaga, which I know from the para, like and then the 3 cards are searched off of block, I was like, okay, he doesn't have the anti-spell FTK, so I can like actually have some sort of interaction with him. Because at this, like if I saw the anti-spell flip, like I was just gonna scoop. Quite frankly, there's just like no point to play through that. It's impossible to play through an anti-spell fragrance, because even if you had like the Cosmic Cyclone, like you can't, like they'll have like Spell Trap Negate. So yeah, at this point, like you're gonna make the Dragdite and then summon Researcher. You're gonna continue making plays, and that's just gonna get you Raptite. You're just gonna keep linking off. He plays double Raptite. I don't know if you guys noticed. So he plays double Raptite, but then he's gonna get Boral Savage from this here. So Boral Savage will equip. So like it's still like a lot of interruptions. Like it's at least like essentially, if the way I look at it, he's also gonna get IP. So like it's basically around like 1, 2, assuming Appaloosa gets for 1 or 2, that's like 4 interruptions. You're gonna get IP, so that's like 5 interruptions, which ironically enough, Pendulum sets up 5 interruptions as well without doing all of this. So it's like pretty much the same thing, but except that the thing between Pendulums and Rock is that the Rock deck has Block Dragon, which like gives them like a better follow-up in my opinion. But then the way that Pendulum gets a follow-up is actually through Institution, because Institution can add back any Pendulum card from your extra deck or your main deck that can hold counters. So you can actually recycle back Servant. It's something that people don't know. So at this point, he's gonna banish 3, summon back block, and like I said, this is like at least 5 interruptions. Like I think if he didn't have IP, I think I can actually play through this board, to be quite honest. But I think I'm gonna show you my line of play. How do I break this board? So first off, I activate Upstart because I'm like, yo, please, for the love of God, give me a Dark Ruler. I draw into Chrono, which is like actually kind of decent. So first thing I do is I go Chrono, and then I'm going to use Chrono Effect. And here's my misplay. I mean, I don't know I would have cracked the board, but I should have just went straight to battle phase. But here I'm going to activate, because the game plan was to like activate Basilisk and then Basilisk back the Chrono and then draw a card to potentially see a side deck card. But here I should have just went to battle and baited out IP, because on the activation of my Basilisk, what he's going to do is he's going to make IP and shuffle back Basilisk, which I don't even know if that was necessarily correct. It's like such a weird card to shuffle back, but I was like, sure, this guy's getting rewarded for it, so that's fine. And then, okay, yeah, at this point, like, he has essentially, like, a search from the block, and then I activate alert, which is going to get negated. I activate Magister, it's going to get, essentially, like, he's not going to negate that, but he's going to negate spell power, and so I just lose. So I just literally just can't do anything else at this point, so I just scoop. I think that if I played that and tried to bait out IP prior to doing everything else, I think I could have, like, at least had a chance at breaking the board, because Basilisk would have baited out, like, a Savage or a Drag Die, and then I could have activate alert to bait out the last one, and then resolve spell power mastery, which would get me scales, and then, like, I can, like, try to play through that. So I think that was probably the better play. But even then, it was a really hard board to crack. But I had Spellbook of Knowledge, which was a dead card, so I was only playing around with 5 cards against 5 interruptions, which is, like, really bad. If this 6th card was, like, a Pot of Desires or anything else, I think I could have actually genuinely played through this whole board. And the thing was, if I didn't do that misplay where I just should have just went to battle phase and threatened IP with Time Gazer, right? I could have just I could have also, like I said, have the extra scale from Spell Power Mastery, right? And then made Pen Summon, make a Link 2, and then Spellbook, like, Knowledge the Link 2 to draw more cards and, like, keep playing. And then the game plan was to resolve Big Endymion, blow up the whole board, and just win the game. So that was, like, the game plan. But obviously I just didn't have that, so I just concede. And then I'm gonna essentially elect to go first this time around now. And this time around I, like, drew. So my hand is actually terrible. This hand is actually insanely terrible. Like, because if you look at this hand, I have 1 scale, I have an institution, I have a souls, I have a spellbook of prophets, like the blue boy, which is something you want to search off of Crowley. Like, you don't want to draw that card. And then you have a Secret Village. So Secret Village is nice, right? But it's technically a dead card. I need that. Secret Village means I need to combo off with 4 cards in my hand now. But Secret Village is really insane if I can execute that combo with 4 cards. So I'm gonna show you guys my line of play of how I get to like, how do I build 5 negates. So I'm gonna show you right now how do you build 5 negates with this hand using with 4 cards, like cards that, like, are, like, kind of bad to see in your hand. Like, even souls, right? Like, souls can only send institution to draw 1, and that just becomes an upstart, which is useless because you won't be able to capitalize on institution. But I'm gonna show you guys now my sequencing of plays that gets me to 5 negates plus spellbook plus the Secret Village, which is GG. So here I go blue boy first. So you normal summon blue boy first because you want to see the rest of your hand before you activate any scales or institution. You want to be able to like, draw first. So at this point, I activate Reflection to just because, even though I did say that, I needed to hold counters because of institution. That's the reason why I activated Spellbook of Secret. So normally you would wait to, like, draw first, but that's totally fine because I needed to stack as many counters as possible on Reflection to search that other scale. Because at this point in time, I legit don't have a way to pen summon, which is, like, kind of bad. So I get this line of play is gonna give me 2 counters on Reflection, which is good, like I said. And then I drew into Citadel and Desires. Now, with the cards in my hand, what do you guys think I'm gonna do next? I'll pause the video. Like, I actually have a way right now to search Servant. If anyone knows the play, I have a way to search and resolve Servant with a lock pen scale. And I'm gonna show you guys right now. So if you pause the video and you want to give it a shot, like, what do I do to, like, get that? Yeah, let me know in the comment section below. So with this hand, this is the first thing I do. Activate Citadel. So Citadel is actually nuts, but I activate Citadel, then I activate Souls. I dump the Big Endymion. I activate Desires after I dump 1 for Souls because I don't want to banish all my Endymion. I need 1 Endymion in the graveyard because I have the 1 piece of the puzzle, which is 1 Reflection already, which means that I have 1 level 7 already. I need to get the next level 7 to get to Absolute Dragon. So here I banished 10 for cost, and then I looked at what I banished. So I saw my banish, and I'm like, yo, this is actually an okay banish. The only thing that kind of hurt was the Jackal King getting banished. Other than that, this was fine. I don't need any of these cards. So Desires was, okay, pot of greed in that instance. I now get counters on Citadel. I get counters on Reflection. As you can see, I drew terrible. These 2 cards are probably the worst cards to draw off of the Desires. So, but you never give up because this next line of play is critical, guys. Watch this. I'm going to activate Institution. And this is why Institution is busted. I can use Institution to remove 3 from Reflection to search any level 3 spellcaster that can hold counters. Guess what that is? Servant. So literally, even though Servant got limited to 1, which is literally a god card in this deck, you play 3 Institution, you play 3 Spell Power Mastery, and the 1 of Servant, so you have 7 ways to search Servant. And so like that's why you have to adapt, even though Servant is at 1. Here I search Servant, and then I'm gonna activate Servant. And everyone's probably thinking, yo, Pack, what is wrong with you? But Citadel has a crazy interaction. So Citadel says that if you were to activate any card effect, you can actually, like any card effect by removing a spell counter, you can actually use Citadel as a bank and just take it out from Citadel instead. So here, I basically am just gonna resolve Citadel, resolve Servant through Citadel, which is insane. Now because of that, I have literally a guaranteed way to play through Nibiru. So I'm like completely set. Now the next line of play is to actually use Souls and send these 2 cards to draw 2 more cards. If you see what I have, I literally just turned my like really garbage hand into a +4. I started with 5 cards in my hand. Now I have 4 cards in the field. I just went +4. So that was like actually insane. And I drew into Chrono and Spell Pride Mastery, like way better draws. Like literally, like Master Serve is actually a dead card, and then Time Gazer is like literally even worse because I drew the Chrono. So now the next line of play is to go Spell Power Mastery, because you want to search the big Endymion, and so that you can essentially resolve the Reflection. So to summon the big Endymion from your hand, and so that you can make Exceed Summon into the Absolute Dragon. At this point, you can then just make Celine, get infinite counters, and then just be completely set. You guys want to know what's crazy about this whole hand? If you guys notice carefully, right? I didn't even pen summon. This is a board without pen summoning. So I'll show you how many interruptions I have. I have Endymion to negate. I have Jackal King to negate. I have a Vortex to negate. And I'm going to reborn a Bounce or reborn an Endymion. This is GG, bro. This is GG. I literally did not even pen summon. This is a board I made without pen summoning. Literally the whole mechanic of Pendulums is pen summon, but this is how broken Pendulums is, man. Like, it's very different because every hand has a unique combo. Like, there's no, like, you don't memorize, like, there's no combo that you memorize in this deck. And that's why I love this deck so much, because, like, every hand you draw is a different line of play. And so you have to, like, think all the time. It's not like, yo, normal summon Doki Doki effect, get, like, analyzer effect. Like, no, it's literally, like, it's very unique. Like, everything you get is, like, every time you draw 2, your game plan changes. Like, every time you resolve desires, you check your banish, game plan changes. Like, that's why this deck is just, like, so beautiful, man. And so here at this point, I activate Chronograph. So people are probably thinking like, yo, Pac, you have an insane god board. Why are you activating Chronograph? Well, because I was thinking that he might be like actually sick enough to have it spear mode. And if he spear modes Celine, Endymion, and Jackal King, I would have no spell counters left on the field, which means I can't then activate any spells, and I just literally lose in my follow-up gameplay. But I need to have the Time Gazer on board so that, first of all, he won't be able to normal summon. So he would need, like, Analyzer plus Spear Mode to, like, actually play, which is, like, an insane hand. But I wanted to play around Spear Mode by having one Spellcaster on the board. And by freeing up my zone with Chronograph, I can then activate Master Serve to search a Basilisk so I get a random draw. And this is going to be really important because the random draw is like really nice, and it also lets me recycle back my cards, so I can actually like recycle back my Servant into my deck, draw one card, but I drew a Master Serve, which is like kind of dead, but like at this point it's like totally fine. But at this point, like I literally have like this is literally like 4 interruptions plus you can't activate spells, man. It's 4 interruptions, you can't activate a spell. I bounce your normal summon, like you like what? So I'm like, I wasn't even afraid of Dark Ruler at this point. I'm like, yo, he needs Spear Mode. So that's why I had to do that line of play. And then so he's going to try to like analyze. I'm like, bro, that card's getting negated, man. Negate. Don't normal summon Doki Doki. I'm like, wait, he went really fast here. But I was like, that's fine. I was like, hold on, wait, bro. Effect. Reflection. Reflection effect. Bounce. Bounce Doki Doki. GG, man. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's... Like, this deck, I think, is very underrated. Like, people think the Rock deck is absolutely, like, the best deck in the world. But, and it is in some aspects. It's better in some aspects and it's better in not. But I think Pendulum, like, also, like, deserves some sort of respect. Like, I think it's a really, really good deck. and if you pilot it like really well, like it's very formidable. Very formidable. I played through 4 Appaloosa Negates and a Herald, man. Like game 1, even though it wasn't the best board, like most, you know how many, like I think in the mirror, in the mirror rock deck, 4 Appaloosa Negate is enough to stop the opponent's turn. I'm being so serious. But against Pendulums, man, yo, that Appaloosa is gonna get blown up by Big Endymion, I guarantee you. So without further ado, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this commentary, please like, comment, and subscribe in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts on Pendulums. Like, is it a deck that you might consider playing? You know, do you think it is meta relevant? Like, do you think it's actually so good? Hopefully this gameplay shows you guys like some of the technical plays involving like Pendulums and like its you know, its, I guess, relevance in the meta. I think it's an insane meta call. I think that this board is like, this board that it can make is like, it ends up on 5 interruptions, which is equivalent to that of like a rock deck. And like, to be completely frank, like I think that like 4 interruptions, 3 interruptions is enough. I think the rock deck kind of just overkills you with infinite disruption anyways. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check me out on Twitch if you're interested in like, you know, seeing more live gameplay like this. Like this game I actually played live on Twitch, so for those of you who are on Twitch, you guys got to see this gameplay live, and you got to see my thought process live. And then also check out my Patreon in like the description box below as well. So I'm setting up a Patreon in which I essentially there's different tiers, and I essentially want, if you guys are interested in like joining me for this journey as like I continue to grow this channel, my Twitch, my stream, I would really like appreciate like any donation at all. Like you have like a $1 tier as well, but I guess I want to shine light on some of the other tiers, which is for example, like there's one tier of like the membership where like the commentary you see here, you would actually send me a replay, I would commentate on it, and then at the end of the month I'll compile all of them, and then I'll put it on my YouTube channel. Like I'll pick one, and then all the Twitch subscribers and all like the Patreons will essentially vote on which one they think is like a really cool one to put up on my YouTube channel. So that's like a really cool way for me to interact with you guys and the community, and for all your support. So yeah, guys, thank you so much again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.